A fertile island in the northern Sporades, Skopelos hit the big screen in 2008 when it appeared in the ABBA musical Mamma Mia. Tourists come for the day, from Ioannis and Skiathos especially, to see Kastani Beach and the enchanting Agios Ioannis Church, which both featured in the film. But Skopelos is much more than a quick sightseeing opportunity. For starters, the island has more than 360 churches and monasteries, some posted on the photogenic slopes of the Palouki or Delphi Mountains. Today we share the top 10 best things to do in Skopelos so you can plan a trip and experience all the exciting attractions and activities this beautiful city has to offer. Starting with number 10, Panormos Beach. At the small namesake resort, Panormos Beach is in a cove that cuts several hundred meters inland. This location is about 12 kilometers away from Skopelos Town by road, and the beach is served by the island's buses. Despite being small, the resort at Panormos puts a range of facilities at your fingertips where it's tavernas, cafes, a mini market, an ATM or a water sports center, right by the water. Facing west, Panormos also gets a wonderful sunset, which you can watch between the pine-covered hills framing the entrance to the cove. The beach is pebbly, and the tranquil waters are different shades of blue depending on their depth. At number 9 is the Skopelos Town. The largest and oldest settlement on Skopelos, the Kora, is a mass of whitewashed houses with terracotta roofs, clinging to stiff hills on a sheltered natural harbor. The center of the town is free of cars and has a tangle of alleys and stairways flanked by traditional houses draped with bougainvillea. Like the rest of Skopelos, you'll never be far from a cute church. There are 120 in this town alone, the oldest having stood since the 11th century. Occasionally a street will deposit you at a scenic terrace overlooking the harbor and Mount Palouki, or a cloistered little square in the shade of a plane tree. At number 8, Agios Ioannis Church. Even if Sophie's wedding scene hadn't been filmed at this church in Mamma Mia, Agios Ioannis would still be a must-see. It's a church set atop an improbably steep outcrop buffeted by the wind and waves. From the isthmus below in front you have to 198 steps to reach the church 100 meters above the sea. The climb might be tricky, but it will all be forgotten when you reach the terrace and see the delightful cove way below, and the yachts bobbing in clear waters. In the wake of the film, the church has become the hub of a lucrative wedding industry, and houses an icon of St. John that, according to a local legend, was discovered alone atop the rock. At number 7, Kastani Beach. Facing the rounded profile of the small Deja Skopelo Island on the west side of Skopelos, Kastani Beach has a few strings to its bow. Firstly, it has more sand than any other beach on the island, even if there's also a band of little pebbles by the water's edge. In 2007, Kastani Beach was another shooting location for Mamma Mia, and tour boats roll in all day long to drop off groups of sightseers, or people who simply want to relax by these sparkling waters. Kastani is free or mass tourism, or even a single beach bar. Enclosing the beach is nothing more than fragrant coniferous forest on high slopes, and a small grassy area. At number 6 in our list, Milia Beach. The next beach down from the Panormos, Milia Beach is a pebble and coarse sandy beach that unfurls for more than a kilometer. People who can't be without the comfort of a sun lounger and waiter service can stay by the Milia's Beach Bar on the north end. But if you crave a little privacy, you can wander south and will be sure to come by an empty patch of sand near the rocks. The glassy, aquamarine water is so clear you can spot everything on the seabed in perfect clarity. Skirting the beach is scrub, dense pine forest, and no sign of a single house. At number 5, Hovolo Beach. Heading towards the northwest coast, Hovolo is a pebble beach in front of impassable white limestone cliffs with tufts of dark green vegetation. The beach is on the south end of Neoklima, and requires a bit of persistence to get to. Between Hovolo and Ioklima is a bulge in the cliffs, and you have to stay close to the rock and wade through a little water to get there. After a few meters, the beach opens out again and you're met by crystalline pale blue waters and a pebble shore dotted with little outcrops. There are no facilities at Hovolo, but that's half the fun, as it's only a short walk back to the resort at Ioklima. At number 4, Venetian Castle. At the site of historic Papyrithos in Skopelos Town is what remains of the town's castle. This was renovated by the Venetians in the 1200s but has been fortified since antiquity. Not much is left apart from the walls, which are ever present above Skopelos Town. You should still battle up the steps from the waterside because the castle has the best vantage point of the town and Mount Paluki on the other side of the harbor. On busier days, people will line up for a selfie or panoramic photograph of this magnificent scene. At number 3 in our list, Limnonari Beach. There can't be many beaches where you can sunbathe while watching wild goats hopping from rock to rock. But that's just what can happen at Limnonari Beach, just under 10 kilometers from Skopelos Town. The name of this beach means small lake, which surely refers to the calmness of the sea in this cove, where private yachts are anchored a little way from the shore. The beach is pebbly, so it pays to pick a sun lounger. Half of these are managed by the beach bar, and the other half by a taverna. At number 2, Evangelistria Monastery. On the protected slopes of Paluki, 3.5 kilometers from Skopelos Town, is another monastery and an inspiring landscape. The Evangelistria Monastery, dedicated to the Virgin Mary, is from 1712 but lies on the ruins of an earlier monastic settlement dating to 1676. At the time of writing, there were still 2 nuns at Evangelistria, and the building continues to be surrounded by its historic defensive wall. In the courtyard is a covered fountain with an inscription for the 18th century founder Haji Stefanis de Pont, father of the famous writer Kaisarios de Pont. The church interior is radiant for its profusion of gold leaf, an 18th century iconostasis crafted in Constantinople, 14th century icons and frescoes evoking chapters from the Old and New Testaments. Check out the number 1 places in our list, Skopelos Church. The Agios Ioannis Chapel is just the tip of the iceberg for scenic religious sites on Skopelos. You can't go more than a few steps without bumping into a chapel, church, or monastery. There are more than 360, which is amazing when you consider how small Skopelos is. Most are private constructions and will be closed when you visit, but will be worth the journey for the views, especially if they're in the natural park around Paluki in the southeast. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite things to do in Skopelos? Is there something we missed? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to Greenable if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.